The hows and whys of comments in HTML, CSS, and JavaScript in today's Nugget of Know. You're going to see comments in code everywhere, whether it's HTML, CSS, or JavaScript. It helps explain your code, especially if your code's getting really long and very intense. It's going to allow you to make relevant, and necessary notes to other people that might come across your code. Now, I stress relevant and necessary because you really want to strive to write your code to be as simple as possible. But sometimes there's going to be things that you really want future readers of your code to know and understand. And that's why you leave comments. Comments are not read by the browser. They're just ignored. The browser sees that it's a comment. It just goes right past it. So let's take a look at how we add comments to HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Right here, you can see that we actually have the caret, exclamation point, and 2 hyphens, and it ends with 2 hyphens and the closing caret. And this is going to be your HTML comment. And I added in a Google Analytics example. This isn't valid analytics to any particular site. It's just sample code, but I wanted to show you in the head here, we actually have the beginning of the analytics and the end of the analytics. And then in the body, you can, if you're structuring out your HTML and you don't have a piece yet, throw in a comment to say, hey, we need a footer down here, or we need another section here, something like that. You can add comments for that kind of stuff. Here in the CSS, it's a little bit different, but it's the same concept. So I have up here a slash and an asterisk with an ending slash, or asterisk and an ending slash. So inside of here, this is going to be our comment. And for CSS, I like to put my different sections. I like to reset general styles. Maybe if we're using CSS grid, you can have that whole grid section there. Different things, accessibility, reader type CSS, all that kind of stuff is going to be sectioned off. And it makes it a lot cleaner and easier to read and figure out what you're doing with each thing. And then with JavaScript, it's very similar. And for the record, these notes that I put in here, these comments, are very unnecessary. But I want you to be able to see what it looks like to have a comment within JavaScript. So for one line, you can just put 2 slashes. And then I just put default button text. But if you want to have multiple lines of comments, you can start with the slash and the asterisk, and then have as many lines as you need. I could even add in here even more. So all of this will be commented out and not read by the browser. But like I said, this is a terrible example of a comment, but I just want you to be able to see what a comment would look like in these different structures. Comments are a pretty simple concept. Some people use them too much though. Some people don't use them enough. Write your code as clean and simply as possible first. But if there's something in there that's kind of tricky and when you come across it later, you're not going to understand what in the world you just did, throw a comment in there so that it makes sense to you or the next person that needs to read your code. Also with your CSS, section it out by using comments. It's perfectly fine. Same thing with your HTML. Make sure it's relevant, it makes sense. Don't overdo it, but don't be afraid of comments. The browser ignores them. You just want to make sure that the readability of your code is always priority. Thanks for hanging out during this Nugget of Know. I'll see you next time and keep learning.